Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Muscatine Today Show. I am so excited that you guys are here with us this morning. We have a jam-packed show for you. It is Wellness Wednesday on the Muscatine Today Show. So we're going to start off by just talking about empowering women and women lead change, and I am excited about that. And then Scott's going to join us, and he's going to put me to work teaching you proper form of clean and press and some other things that we do at Impact Athletic Performance. But I want to start off the show by saying thank you to all of our amazing sponsors. It's just literally impossible to do this show without them. So thank you so much to our newest sponsor, Rivo Plumbing and Heating, R7 Reclaimed, Impact Life Blood Center, Lutheran Living, CBI, Toyota of Muscatine, Impact Athletic Performance, Suntan City Muscatine, Real Estate Resource Associates, Unity Point Health Trinity Muscatine, and of course Hy-Vee with the Market Grill Express Studios. We take over every day. They're so gracious and such great hosts every morning. It is a tad raining outside, but we really need that rain, so we're gonna let it slide. And it's been really warm also, so it can cool off a little bit out there. I am excited about today's show. We have an amazing guest who traveled here to hang out with us this morning. Tiffany O'Donnell is the CEO of Women Lead Change. We had a couple guests on the show, I don't know, it was probably a little over a month ago, to talk about Women Lead Change and kind of just do like a broad overview of what that is, and it was really cool to learn about the organization and just what it is all about. But I'm excited for you to be here today to dig in a little bit deeper and talk about the upcoming conference, and it's exciting. Thank you. Let's start a little bit about just the history of Women Lead Change and the organization itself.
Perfect. First of all, thanks, Ashley, because you're walking the walk of what you're talking about. So it's a privilege to meet you, and thanks for having us on here today. Women Lead Change is really a grassroots organization started out of a need to develop current and emerging leaders. So it was a group of women actually at the University of Iowa Hospital. They were wondering if there was anything out there to do that, knowing that they needed to create a pipeline if they wanted to have eventual leaders, and there really wasn't anything. So that was in 2007. They put together what they thought would be a luncheon with some speakers, and they thought they'd get 300. They had 500 in a wait list. So it really spoke to the need, and then companies were behind it, because at the time companies understood the imperative to have diversity of thought at the table, and women being that largest community that was underrepresented there, they were really intentional about it. So that's how it started. Fast forward to today, I think we've seen more than 20,000 people pass through our conference doors.
That's amazing.
But it's conferences, it's workshops, it's we'd have a public-private partnership called the Epic Corporate Challenge that actually invites companies and individuals to measure how we're advancing women and women of color in the workplace. And then we also do white papers, as I said, to begin to track how exactly we're moving the needle, especially important women in the workplace following the pandemic. So just a wide variety of all designed to advance women leaders at all levels.
I was so intrigued when my friend Denise first introduced this idea, this organization to me, and I said, well, I want to know more about that. And so I went on the website, I've done some digging on Facebook, and you guys are active on social media, so it's fun to see. I love the Motivation Monday things that you guys sometimes put out, which I actually grabbed one of them that I saw you guys post. It was, I think it was last Monday that this one was up, and I really liked it because this is something I say to my friends. I tell my daughter this all the time. The success of every woman should be inspiration to another. And so I talk to my daughter all of the time about it's not a competition, like when someone else does something great, especially one of your girlfriends, we're not jealous of that. We're excited for them. That's exciting. And so I loved that one last Monday when I saw that pop up on my news feed, because we need more of that, right?
We absolutely
Positive stuff on our news feeds for social media.
And once you do that, that's awesome. You're teaching your daughter that too, because it feels really good, by the way. So the more that people do it, the more we see that, it's not an or. We are all an and. Everybody has a place.
Yeah,
everybody has a place.
Yeah, and that's kind of part of what Women Lead Change is all about, is just embracing each other and making sure that we all have a place at the table, and that's really cool. So tell me, how did you become a part of this organization, and kind of become a part of this all?
Okay, thanks for asking that, because I always call myself the poster child for Women Lead Change, for the work that we can do, because I was in an entirely different career for 15 years, truthfully, and was asked to volunteer with the organization. And it was during a conversation, one of the speakers they had was, I say they because I wasn't working there yet, they asked me to moderate a conversation with Martha Stewart.
Oh.
I know. I said, let me see if I can clear my calendar.
Right.
I think
You're like, I might be busy that day. No,
so
I'm not.
It was Martha Stewart in a room about 1,000 people. So that was interesting, and a gut check for sure for me. But during that conversation, she revealed that she wrote her first cookbook, that entertaining cookbook that we've probably seen on our, parents' moms' countertops, that blue cookbook. She wrote that when she was 42. So I think I was at the time maybe 43 and thought that my life was sort of set with my career. My career was fine. It was stable. It was fairly rote, though. I wasn't getting much stimulation there. But I thought, this woman arguably started an industry, the lifestyle industry, at 42.
Yeah.
So you know how once you see somebody who does something like that, you start to notice other people who've done that, and that's really what it did. It triggered me to see other women who, now we call it re-career, or sort of reinvent themselves, and that's exactly what happened. I started to volunteer with the organization. They were looking at a succession plan for their co-founder and CEO, asked me to come in and work under her as a chief operating officer. So that was 2015, and then moved into her role in 2017. Awesome. So oftentimes we say you have to see it to be it. Yeah. You have to see it to be it. And our conferences do that. We shift paradigms for what's possible. So I am a walking, talking, what can happen, when you're exposed to things that we don't have access to. But Women Lead Change, proudly provides access to development and speakers and programming that can change trajectories.
Yeah. Speaking of that, there's a local conference coming up that so many of us here in Muscatine have access to very soon. And I was looking, we talked about it last time they were on the show briefly because it was still a ways out, but I started looking again last night at some of the speakers, and it was just like, holy cow.
Yeah, I know.
These are amazing women that are coming to, literally our backyard to talk to us about their passions and how they got to where they got and all of those things. So let's talk. Let's talk a little bit about the conference and that portion of it, because Sarah Thomas.
I know.
She's so cool.
The NFL. So did you see her in the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Girl power ref during the Super Bowl.
I
know.
And we have photos of all these women too, and it's amazing to just see them in their roles and see them doing what they're doing. And
there's a series of speakers. So we have multiple speakers at that event, and I'll tell you, when we decide who's going to speak, we have 3 goals. We want to educate, we want to challenge, and we want to inspire. And I would say that Sarah really fits that, challenging what's possible and inspiring us, again, to what can we do next?
Yeah, think outside the box.
Yeah.
If you have some kind of goal or a dream that you think, I can't do that, male-dominated
for sure
industry for sure.
It's
and she's like, well, let me just do this job.
I know. She's really strong.
She is
strong person.
She is.
So she's more inspirational. We also have we like people to be able to leave the conference and do something different.
Yep.
Like do something you learned that day.
Yep.
And so through breakout sessions and then some of our other keynotes, talking about digital presence and digital leadership, you will leave that day a little bit different. And that's always our goal.
Yep.
That's always our goal. So.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And so
I should note too, this is possible because like you talked about the sponsors that bring you, put you on the air. Companies here understand the imperative to make sure we have women at the table. Our male allies like to come to these conferences as well. And John Deere stepped up once again this year to be our presenting sponsor, understanding that it's not just the right thing to do to have women at the leadership table. It's a smart thing to do. Right. So hats off to all of our sponsors. They're on the website too.
Yes. Yeah, check out the website, not only to get more information about this conference, but there are tons of conferences. I mean, even I saw ones in Cedar Rapids that I'm like, oh, like that's not very far away. I could make that,
sure. And a workshop too coming up too on the 29th. I can tell you about that.
Yes,
yeah.
the workshop. But so tell me what happens at some of these conferences. You mentioned breakout sessions. You have lunch. What's going to happen at this conference on October 13th?
It's going to be you'll be able to. Yeah, it's on the 13th, if you can believe it already. That's coming up at the Waterfront Convention Center. So basically, we are doing in person. There's also a hybrid model. So if your comfort level isn't to be in person, we have that opportunity as well.
Yep.
One of the things, just so you know, right now where we are, as an in-person, we're going to recommend face masks for those who choose to do that. We also have a system of stickers, colored stickers, so you'll be able to know if someone is comfortable shaking hands, or if they prefer a fist bump, or if they just say, hey, respectfully, just stay 6 feet away from me and we're good, So we do have some processes in place to make everybody comfortable, meet everybody where they are too. But it really is an opportunity to network. These are, we'll get several hundred people at this event. So you'll have the keynotes, you'll have the breakouts in between on a variety of different topics. Then we also have our Athena and Women of Influence and Emerging Leader Awards over lunch. So that's a whole separate ticket if people want to just come to the lunch portion. Our conference attendees, that's our luncheon today. It's included in that.
Awesome.
So yeah, I mean, a great opportunity. We hear a lot about the power of the networking that happens and the relationships that happen. Because, I mean, ideally you'd be with people from your team, but it's also really important to meet people in other industries.
Right.
And people that you didn't know. That's your opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. Networking is just an amazing thing. Yeah. I mean, regardless of what industry you work in, it's so important to have those other women, like you said, other men that might attend.
Yeah,
that
our male allies.
Yeah,
for sure.
That are allies within the companies too. So very cool. Yeah. Well, these speakers are going to be awesome. I encourage you guys all to go out and check out the website and see all of the speakers that are going to be there, because there are several that I was just like, oh my gosh, she sounds just amazing.
I know. They are.
So several of them.
Yeah, and then the workshop, if you don't have time for the full day, September 29th, we do have a workshop coming up. And that's a Charged Leadership, Energize Your Work and Life with Kristen Brown. So that's a morning, half day. So that's also at the website too.
Yes.
It's just, we've had such great response. The Quad Cities has been ready for this. So it's a privilege and an honor to watch it grow here. And it gets bigger and better every year.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier, and I think right at the beginning of the show, some of the work you guys do, kind of, I mean, I don't want to say behind the scenes, but sort of, with some of the research you guys do. And you mentioned something about the research you've done around the pandemic and what did you call it? I'm trying to
the women's recession.
The women's recession. Yes.
That's a term. I can't take credit for the term.
Yes.
It's what sadly it's bad enough that we have a name for it.
Yes.
If you can believe it. Yeah. I say it's bad enough, but now we're in the resilience part of that.
Yes.
We're in the women's
that's
resilience.
good.
Yes, absolutely.
That's good. So tell me a little bit about that.
So basically what we've discovered, and the data now backs that up, is that women disproportionately stayed home during the pandemic. For a variety of reasons. I think McKinsey, the great research firm, estimates as many as 3 million women nationally may have left the workforce, whether it's burnout, whether it's childcare, or taking care of adult parents, or just through layoffs and job closures. So we've got 3 million women out of the workforce. And so the question now becomes, how do we get them back into the workforce now that we are emerging from our homes?
Yes.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
I think it's important that companies and businesses know that women are out there.
Yep.
And that they're wanted and they're still needed in the workforce. And then once they're back, really finding ways to accelerate that onboarding. Yep. We know what it's like, some of us who've stayed out to maybe raise kids at home and then want to get back into the workforce. It can be, discouraging when you have to start at square one.
Yes.
So even after a year and a half, sometimes I think it can be discouraging. So, the best companies are figuring out, how do we get you here, first of all, and then how do we accelerate your onboarding? So we can leverage all of your skills quicker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are some very smart, amazing women who have decided to stay home or who maybe haven't even decided to at this point, but they decided to, and now it's like, how do I get back in?
I know. How do I get back? And so many of the industries that women tend to populate, the things like hospitality and service, and even female-owned businesses, these were adversely affected.
Yeah.
I mean, disproportionately affected. So with an eye on, maybe we need to focus on upskilling, how do we support our women in our communities and making sure that we have the skills that match the jobs that we have here.
Yeah.
But it's all, part of this new mindset that will, I say it's the point of resilience for us now. So my money's always on women.
It should be.
Money's always there. Yep.
Yes, it should be. Well, I think that this organization is just super cool. I'm excited to go to the conference on October 13th and just learn more and be inspired and leave changed in some way, I'm excited about it. So
I'm so glad. Well, you inspire a lot of people, you should know.
Well, thank you.
You really
I appreciate
do.
That.
Yeah, you do.
I am lucky to be able to do what I do and get to meet people like you. So I think that you all should go to the website. And if you haven't already learned about Women Lead Change, then find out more on the website. Sign up for the conference and find out even more there, and be a part of it.
Thank you.
It sounds like an amazing organization that not only women should be a part of, but we need those allies throughout organizations as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's important for women to have a place to speak to each other, but we still know, based on the data, that 80% of men are still in charge. So we've got a lot of male allies who want to be better and want to support this initiative. So invite men, women, everyone's invited.
Everyone's invited. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking about the organization. I can tell that you're so passionate about it.
I am.
It's inspiring when someone's passionate about what they're speaking of. So
thank you very much.
This is cool. I hope to see a lot of Muscatine folks.
Thank you. I do too.
That would be cool. And I know that there are several Corporation H&I is very involved in Women Lead Change, and so hopefully we'll see a lot of familiar faces when we go to the conference on October 13th. So thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, Ashley.
We are going to go to a quick commercial break, and then we're going to bust into Wellness Wednesday with Scott. He's over there waiting, I know, just waiting to make me work. So we'll be right back with your Wellness Wednesday section of the show.
Attention! This is an important message for all you grown-ups. Get the COVID vaccine. I miss my friends. This is the end of the message. I'm back! Not so fast. You can't return to a regular program yet. Not until you get the COVID vaccine. This for real is the end of my message. Safe care, your way. Unity Point Health. Know how much you matter to this world.
We just don't work out in a single plane of motion.
awesome. So what an inspiring conversation. I love to talk about people who are passionate about what they're speaking about. It inspires you to learn more. So I encourage you guys all to go and learn more about Women Lead Change and that organization as a whole, and about the conference that's coming locally to the Quad Cities. So next up, I told you, Scott's here next to me now. We're going to talk a little bit about some wellness. It's Wellness Wednesday.
Well, yeah, let's talk about
Let's talk about it.
We could have Fitness Friday, but no, it's Wellness Wednesday.
Wellness Wednesday. Fitness Friday, Wellness Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, drink a lot of water.
Good catch.
Right?
Absolutely, yes. Drink water every day.
Yes, every day. Yes.
Every day.
But, all right, so Autumn told me last night we're going to be talking about Clean and Press.
Clean and Press. Yeah, it's one of, as you look at our partnership with the Ultimate Sandbag.
Yep.
It's one of their standard movements.
Yep.
And basically we look at, you have 5 minutes to lift a sandbag off the ground, getting it to a front-loaded position, pressing overhead, and you have 5 minutes to do a certain amount of reps. Mm-hmm. But this is not where we're just trying to zip through it as fast as we can and dropping the weight from the top. With sandbags, we just don't do that.
Yeah. And
to have proper movement, have proper strength through the body, there are some technical aspects of what we do with this Clean and Press.
Yep.
And as a matter of fact, the programming for this week has, it's going to culminate not necessarily in a 5-minute test on Friday, that's coming up, hint, hint. Mm-hmm. But we're going to be working on that movement specifically as part of our Friday workout. And Monday's programming, today's programming, all helps us get into a better position and getting us stronger, getting us ready for that Clean and Press.
Yeah.
And so we'll go through the nuances of it here in a little bit. I'll cue you to what we look for at Impact, especially. I mean, we don't do, you know this, and our fans out there know this. We don't do anything with barbells.
Yep.
It's sandbag. We could probably do this with a kettlebell. I've never really tried, but it's all a single arm type movement. This is a total body workout.
Yeah.
So we have hinging, we have core stability, we have pressing overhead. And as a coach, I look for those compensation patterns, or maybe we just don't have that shoulder mobility yet. And if that happens, then we can look at doing some other things. Now that's on the personal training side.
Right.
I still have to be very focused in regards to our programming for group training.
Yeah.
And that's the joy of being a coach.
Yep.
Being able to modify for your success today for future success later on.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
As we look at the Clean and Press, the standards are this. I mentioned 5 minutes. And so for males, under 170 pounds, and I'm right at like 173, 174, so I don't get the lower weight. But we look at, we look at lifting or pressing 40 pounds overhead for 50 reps. And you do that in the 5 minutes, and really until you experience it, you go, 40 pounds overhead, not a big deal.
Yeah.
Believe me, it's a big deal. And then when we look at 170 athletes that are 170 to 210, I'm sorry, that pound was 60 pounds overhead. 60 pounds overhead for our male athletes. When we get 170 to 210, that's 80 pounds overhead. I was almost going to bring the 80-pound bag today, but I didn't. And then when you get over 210 pounds, it's doing 100 pounds overhead. But you're only doing, for the 80 pounds and the 100 pounds, 40 reps.
Gotcha.
So you might be going up in weight, but you decrease in reps. On the female side, I believe it's under 150 pounds, you have a 40-pound bag that you go for 50 reps, and over 150 pound, then you have a 60-pound bag. So, is everybody there? No. But that's the joy of coaching. That's the joy of programming. That putting people on a journey that maybe they're only doing 30 pounds right now.
Yep.
But doing the things right, programming appropriately, and then getting you to success at 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Then maybe it's 50 pounds. Maybe then,
Yep.
and that doesn't happen overnight. We know that fitness is a journey. We know nutrition is a journey. We just don't eat one great meal that has all your macros and I'm
healthy now.
And I'm healthy now. No. And on the other side of the token, we don't. I mean, if you go out and have a half a pizza, one bad meal. And I don't want to say pizza's bad, but one of those meals that's really kind of off plan doesn't hurt you as well. It's when we start creating that continuity, that having that scheduled workout, getting in 3-4 times a week into the studio to be able to then start increasing. And then obviously on the nutrition side, when you've gone through that, and you're going through that right now with Autumn and all of our nutritional clients, it's just like working out. You really have to be mindful of what you're doing. But nonetheless, with our Clean and Press, we can get right into this, and we can talk about all of the primal movements, if you will, and all the body positions that we need to be in to be able to do this successfully.
Yeah.
So, I'm ready if you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right.
Let's do this.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through it real quick, and then I'm going to cue you as if, and I know you've done this before.
Yep.
And so our camera's right here, okay?
Yep.
So this is our 40-pound ultimate sandbag.
Okay.
And what we look for is, and I'm going to come to the side here so everybody can see this. It was about a couple months ago. We talked about the makeup of the bags and different holding positions and different handles. When we perform this particular test or the movement in general, I'm not worried about the test. We have the neutral handles. We always develop a strong grip. So when we have this strong grip, we're hinging. That's one of our primal movements, is our hinge. So we're hinging, reaching down. We grab the handles and we're squeezing probably 30 to 40% effort. I mean, we're not death gripping this. We're not going white knuckles, but we're not loosey-goosey on the handles. And that is a technical term, loosey-goosey, just to let you know.
Yes.
So we have a nice strong grip here. From here, we pull these handles apart, and I purposely came from the side that a lot of athletes, a lot of people that come into Impact, we have desk jobs. What happens at a desk job? And we even find it potentially here that when we're in a high stress situation, we start closing off and these rounded shoulders. When we're lifting, that's probably the worst thing to be able to do. When we're on our phone, what do? We're right here. So we go from here, we pull the handles apart, and now that naturally flattens the back. The most technical aspect of this is coming from the ground into our front-loaded position. When I can get people to learn this, then they are over halfway there. Now, if I were to do a plank or have you do a plank, what would that look like? We would have our hands here, or our forearms here, if we're doing a forearm plank. And if we're horizontal on the ground, we're pushing the chest away and we're in this position. The beauty of the sandbag is that when we get to this point right here, hey, look at that. What position am I in? I am in a vertical plank. And so my ability to work through the lats, not the shoulders, and be strong here allows me to hold this position.
Yeah.
So now from here, either a strict or a push press. When we're doing the actual test, you want to be able to do a push press. A strict press is just this. And you're just strictly, there's no movement on the lower body. a push press is that we get a little pop with the knees. So that really becomes, you have the hinge, you have a high pull, you have this clean to fist, and we have overhead press. So there's actually 5 components to this that we train into our program. So I'll just do 2 or 3 reps real quick, and I want to, and I'm going to do a couple wrong.
Okay.
And I want our fans out there, and I want you to be able to see what we're doing wrong, and then what we do to correct it. So from here, so obviously 2 very poor reps. Why were they poor? Now, I may have gotten the bag overhead very nicely. I don't even know if I went overhead. So that talks about shoulder mobility, and there's some things we can do with that to help gain shoulder mobility to be able to press overhead. But I think everybody saw, 1, I bounced it off of my knees, and 2, the other one, I just let the bag control me. We always talk about we control the bag does not control us. So how do we correct that? There again, it's a strong grips, pulling the handles apart. We get to here. Now, from here, being able to have the bag over the crown of the head. In a lot of workouts that you'll see, especially with a barbell, I've been guilty of this, but it's what I've been taught, that just to be able to get a little bit of a rest, we're going to drop this from the top. We don't drop the sandbag at all. But what we actually do, so from here, we actively pull this bag back down into place, engaging our lats and getting strength here that just dropping a weight from the top, you're never going to get. The other part of that, and you saw the last rep, so I'm actively pulling down. I get to this point, and I control the bag's descent. Those are the cues that we have to have, because if we start doing this, then
it like hurt my back when I saw you go.
Yes,
I'm like, ah!
It didn't necessarily feel all that good to me. But at least I knew how to fail correctly. So I'm gonna have you do this, and I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
I brought a 30-pound bag.
Okay.
So should be plenty. Now, when we see the makeup of our strength and our power bags, when we get into the bigger bags, we also look for where our hands are overhead. We don't want to be really overhead or really narrow overhead. So as a coach, I'm keeping this shoulder line in mind for you. Shoulder mobility there again plays a great part in this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cue you the same way. So your feet are going to be hip width apart, and our hinge pattern to where the lower leg, we talked about this one of the first couple shows, our hinge pattern, knees to ankle, stays the same. This is a squat and this is a hinge. So we hinge at the waist. So, and we grab the handle, strong grab, and we're gonna pull those handles apart. So now what happens is you start feeling the power right here. So I'm gonna put you on the spot. We're going to pull that bag into the front, loaded fist position. Perfect. And so we're gonna bring the elbows in. We never wanna be out here, so we wanna be here. Now, in this position, and I can have a little fun here, this is our vertical plank, right here. Okay, so you should be feeling some good activation here. From this point, bag goes straight overhead, good. Shoulder mobility, the bag is over the crown of the head. You're gonna control it back to the chest, and then back down to the ground. Perfect. So now, we're gonna do this 50 times in 5 minutes.
Okay.
I'm kidding a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. But So I talked about we have a hinge. If somebody has a hard time with our hinge, so how can we work that? I want you to put this now into the front load. We're going to do a good morning. So exactly. So when we program for good mornings, if somebody's having a problem with a good morning, we'll actually go to the deadlift. We change where the weight is. This is very demanding. So we have either a strong grab here, or we can just cup the bag. Yeah, but we're still going to pull the bag around behind us, and then now you are just going to hinge forward. Yep, and come back up. So what this is taking into account, one is developing your hinge, but two, this is also the eccentric portion of the clean and press. As we're coming back down, not dropping that weight, we're getting stronger as we bring the bag back down. So that's one way to be able to create better core stability. And if anybody tells you the core is just your abs, run the other way. Because there's upwards of 36, 37 pairs of muscles that make up the core. It is just not right here. It's from the glutes, hamstrings, glutes, all the way into the lats. So that's not even debatable. That's science.
Yeah, not debatable.
Not debatable. So let's put the bag back down to the ground. Now let's say we have problems with shoulder mobility. So from here, we can give you, and this is just a 10-pound bag, we have our around the worlds, and we'll do this in our standing position to where we're just going to go around the world, and we're going to go in handles on this one. Yep. So you will take the bag, you're going to take the left hand, go over the right shoulder. Yep. And so now what we're going to make sure happens is that one, we want to paint the bag on the back of the shoulders. That's one thing. But two, we don't want to be this water wiggle. So we're not trying not to move the body to get the bag around us. We're going to be nice and strong. So there again, what are we doing? Strong abdominal area. We're getting that compression here. We actually have the butt squeezed a little bit. So now as we're going, we're being extremely stable through our bodies. So if we don't have the hinge pattern, we do good mornings or deadlifts. If we don't have good shoulder mobility, we can do these around the worlds, and we can do them in a half kneeling position, or excuse me, a tall kneeling position. That really takes the lower body out of the equation. We're going to go back to the 30-pound bag. How can we make the midsection in the core more stable other than good mornings? So let's go ahead, and I want you to put this to our front-loaded fist position. And so now we can perform a squat. And so with our normal squat, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to brace through our core, brace through our abdominal wall and that's me cueing you, pull the ribs down into the top of the hips so we're strong here, and we're going to squat. So and then coming right back up. So what that teaches us, our body, is our ability to develop that strength that we need. If we're here all the time, or we're here all the time, especially in this position, think about anything we've done at the house. If you are lifting in this position, you've lost your canister of air. Your ribs are going up here, and what's the first thing that's going to hurt? Right back here.
Yeah.
When we're lifting, we do that. Anything from the ground. When we're pressing anything overhead, that's the same thing. So what it comes down to is the clean and press test is an amazing challenge to be able to see where your fitness level can be. If you fail, you fail. I mean, more success comes out of failure than anything else.
Yeah.
If you're only able to get 30 reps in this 5 minutes, then then that's where the programming comes in. If I'm doing personal training with you, we're gonna work hard on that. Now, one of the things we can do to create your capacity is to be able to, if you're supposed to be doing a 40-pound bag for your test, we may have you do 50 pounds. We go heavy for a day and try to get 3 to 5 reps in a minute, and then try to rest. To build up some aerobic capacity, then we can do the 30-pound bag, go a little bit lighter.
Sure.
And now going for 30 seconds or a minute, trying to be able to drive that capacity in your body to be able to perform. When you look at 5 minutes, quite honestly, it's not trying to get all 50 in one continuous movement. I'm sure somebody could do it, but really it's not the goal.
Probably Isaiah.
He might.
Isaiah probably could.
He probably could.
You could probably do 50 straight reps.
He just does it with kegs. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Stop by Impact. Stop by Impact for a movement assessment. We're going to get you going.
We'll go do a whole session.
Okay.
So when we look at that, even my 40 pounds that my test to get my certification is at 80 pounds. I'm not doing that 80 pounds even in 40 reps to get that done as quickly as possible. It is tough. I mean, you're on the floor. It's chalk outline when you're done. You're gasping for air. So how can we make that easier on us? So building up that capacity. Hint, hint, if you're watching out there, Friday is going to be like this. That we're going to try to hit a range of numbers in our 1 minute workout. We'll get 1 minute of rest. But if you think of 5 minutes and you can do 10 reps in the first minute, you might get 10 seconds, 20 seconds worth of rest, be able to then hit another 10 reps on minutes 1 to 2. For me, I look at breaking it into 8 reps, and then I get around 20 to 25 seconds. It's still torture. I don't want to say torture. I don't want to scare people. I don't want to say torture. It is demanding.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, and that's why it's one of our core workouts, core challenges. We also have one that's a squat challenge. People have no problem in performing the squat at the load that's needed. Where they fall short is getting that bag into that front-loaded position to be able to perform it. So those are the fun things that we do. I mean, we don't have any really, the fancy workouts that you see everywhere else in regards to do standards. Our friends at CrossFit, they have Fran, they have Diane, they have all of these. That's not our goal at Impact. Our goal is to get you on a better fitness journey, improving it from day 1 to day 10 to day 100, and getting you farther along than you were at the beginning. You'll be able to look back and say, wow, I used to do 20 pounds here, and now I'm doing 30. Now I'm doing 40. We don't necessarily care about the PRs inside the studio. We want you to PR life.
Right.
We want you to play with your daughter or son. We want you to feel better at work. We want you to feel better while you're doing your yard work. What if you're on a 4-hour trip? How are the hips? They're really stiff after a while. So what are those things that we can do to get you feeling the best you can? So clean and press test is one of them. Fair warning to the Impact athletes. Friday's going to be pretty good.
Friday's the day, huh?
You guys are going to have a challenge coming up here in the next week or two, and it's my job to get you ready for that. Do you have any questions as far as what we did that maybe I can explain a little bit more?
I don't think so. I think the biggest thing for me has been which you kind of explained, was how do I go from like this 30-pound bag that I'm pretty comfortable with at this point, and like how do I get to the next bag, without like, because I feel like when I do go to the next bag, I'm like halfway through and I'm like, I get really worn out. So it's like, how do I make that transition without like collapsing halfway through, class? Is it best to do like the 30-pound bag and then halfway through class switch to 40 and do the rest of the class? Like how to make those transitions, into the next bag.
Yeah, and that's a
for any of them, really, not just the clean and press, but any of the.
Exactly.
Because I think I'm there for a lot of the different things. It's like, okay, I've been doing this bag now. I need to work up to the next one.
And because our coaches don't do the workout with everybody, and whether it's me, whether it's Autumn, whether it's Cindy Klebe, we're always coaching. We're never working out with you. At times, like on Fridays when we have our flows, hey, can you do this? Visual learning is key, especially when we get into multiple movements. But that's my job. If I'm seeing that you perform a certain amount of reps that are higher than intended, so on Mondays, what are we looking for? Probably in that 6 to 10 rep range. Wednesdays, probably 10 to 16. If you're getting 20 reps really easy, that weight is way too much for you, especially on a Wednesday. If you're getting 12, upwards of that 10, 11, 12 reps on a Monday, okay, that's that's my cue to say, let's go up and wait. Now, if I drop you back to 5 or 6, that's where we want to be. I did Monday's workout yesterday. The weights that I hit were all at the low rep range, 6 to 7 reps, which was perfect. And that's how we base what bag, what weight you are going to use.
Gotcha.
So as a coach, I'm keeping an eye on you. If I see something that, okay, this is way too easy for you, feel good about it. Don't go, oh God, don't. That's not the attitude we would want. Hey, all of a sudden, I know you can do 40. I have to build that confidence into you. Because I think that's what you're looking from me as a coach, to be able to say, all right, when am I ready to go up? And that's the point, to do it. So, let's see. I mean, there's all sorts of other cues that I could do, especially in the hinge, but I mean, those are the fun things about this clean and press test, that once you get the technical aspect of the front load fists, once you understand that you're in control of the bag, it's a game changer. And that's why I love this system so much. So.
Awesome. Right. Sweet. That was it. That was a clean and press.
So if you want to,
come try it.
Absolutely. Come join us. First class is always free. Back here. First class is always free. Don't be intimidated by what we have going on, because technically there are some things that are kind of difficult, but we're always there to be able to modify appropriately. We want you to come away with, hey, this is something I can really do, versus, oh my gosh, that was nothing what I want, nothing that I thought it was. Obviously, we want to create that success for you. So, come and stop by the studio. Reach out to us through our Facebook page, through our website, and get started today.
Get started today.
Why not? Why not?
I learned really quickly that you don't have to wait till a Monday or the beginning of the month to start something like this.
That is correct.
That used to be like a thing. Like you'd be like, oh, well, I'll just do it on Monday because that's like the beginning of the week, or I'll do that at the beginning of the month. But you don't actually have to do that.
No, and it's funny. It's quite honestly, it's funny how our brains process that. You think about golf. In the afternoons, I'm the Muscatine varsity boys golf coach, and it's one of those. Well, maybe I'll play better on the back nine, or I'll wait till the back nine to play better. It's like, well, why not make it this next shot? Why not, if you've just hit a bad putt, why not make it this hole that we're going to turn around? It can be hole number 4, hole number 5. This can be a Wednesday. This can be a Friday. There's no limit to when we start, but in our mind, we like that. I have this hard date that I want to. It's gonna be a Monday, and we take it from there.
I encourage you guys to reach out and give it a try. I mean, I think it is truly for everyone. Like, I think you'll find a class at Impact that you like, and probably multiple ones. So come and join us and hang out and have a good time with us, whether it be on the physical side, doing some of these classes, on the nutrition side, or both. I think there's something for everyone. So come give us a call. Give them a call. Us.
Yes, you are part of the family.
Now I'm officially taking calls for Impact. Apparently, give us a call. Yeah, seriously, I am excited that you guys joined us today. I hope you will give them a call and join us at class. It's a fun time. Hopefully Friday, so they can see me pass out possibly. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's not going to happen.
No.
But thanks for joining us on Wellness Wednesday on the Muscatine Today show. Thanks for sponsoring it too. This has been a good show. Between Scott being here and Womanly Change, I think it was a great Wellness Wednesday. We will see you again. But until then, don't forget that kindness is free. So spread that stuff wherever you go.
Hello, I'm Tennille with R7 Reclaimed, located in Grandview, Iowa. We mix old and new goods together so that you can find the story of your home. When you get here, you will find a mix of old and new goods that are put together so seamlessly you won't even be able to tell which is which. And not only that, it's going to speak to you and your home. We are worth the road trip. We call it the R7 Road Trip. So punch in 337 Cemetery Lane, Grandview, Iowa into that GPS and make the road trip.